is going on, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my fully review of season 1 of Power Rangers Dino Fury. I'm gonna break down some of my favorite characters, what I thought about the show, what I like and dislike about the season as a whole. So before we get into the video, if you're new to my channel, subscribe, like, comment, share, and do not forget to hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. So let's get into the positives and negatives. So we're gonna start things off with positives. I love the music. The music in the season is what made this show so fun to watch. The techno beats, the mix of trap beats of certain segments and certain scenes and certain moments of this entire season. Not to mention the orchestra of this season. The music felt so different than any other Power Rangers season history. Dino Fury pretty much went out with a bang when it comes to the soundtrack. It did its justice, and just like Mighty Morphin, Dino Fury stood out to be one of the best when it comes to its soundtrack. And it's really cool to see. Zords themselves are good looking, great details inspired by Legos, and I feel like the Dino Fury Zords, aka the Real Soldier Zords, they was done right. And the T-Rex is probably one of my favorite ones because it has its own Megazord mode. The T-Rex Champion Zord is probably one of my favorite ones I've seen thus far. Other Zords look fine, but I think the T-Rex Zord is absolutely the best one I've seen thus far. And you know what? I'm here for it. I think one of the coolest things about this show overall is the fight scenes. The civilian fights and the fight choreography in the show is very balanced. I love the cinematography in the fights, and it felt so different than any other Power Rangers season. And it's not the same director from Beast Morphers and Dino Charge. It's definitely a different director who's done music videos in the past and is starting the show, especially in episode 4 when Harvey and Izzy debut, which I'm gonna get to that in the future. And there are a lot of good writing when it comes to the character development for each Ranger. Each of the episodes felt unique, it felt like it was important, and it felt like you wanted to, take this show very seriously. And I'm glad that Dino Fury was able to provide each and every moment. Let's get into another positive I love about this show is the characters. Zeto is by far one of my favorite Red Rangers in this series. His backstory of where he came from, Ravcon, about the Sporax destroying his planet. Him and his knights did everything they could to fight off the evil, but they failed automatically. Even when they lost the battle in the Megazords, the Morphin Masters, gave them each of the knights power to make sure that they live on forever. And his character development felt so important in the show in episode 3 when he wanted to gain communication and gain contact from his planet Ravcon, from the people, if there's people left on there. So by the time we got to episode 16, we finally learned why Zeto is not the leader that everybody thought they were. Because according to Ayan, he allowed the Sporax to happen because he originally trusts his people with this instinct that the Sporax does not cause any harm. But unfortunately, it already did some damage. And to speak of Ayan, Ayan is the favorite 6th Ranger of mine because of his personality. He's a mix of Zack and Zane from In Space, and Dustin a little bit. Not to mention, Joint Fight looks like Walter Jones during his younger days on MMPR. So a lot of people said the exact same thing, including me. But he still stood out to me as one of my favorite 6 Rangers on the show because of his backstory, of how he had a great introduction and started with episode 8 where the Rangers were searching for the Nexus Prism, of searching for a new Ranger, a new ally, and apparently the Nexus Prism was looking for something in the ocean, because in Real Soldier, the Gold Ranger Zord is from the ocean. And I see why episode 8 hinted us a glimpse of what's to come when it comes to the Gold Ranger, aka the 6th Ranger introduction, which his 6th Ranger introduction was the best I've seen thus far. Amelia is a fun Pink Ranger. I love her personality. She's fun, and I see why she loves doing ghost hunting on this fake YouTube on Power Rangers, aka Buzz Blast. It's kind of like BuzzFeed, but Buzz Blast is this place where they do a whole lot of activities, like fake YouTube things, like creating crafts and talking about the news, etc. And you know what? Amelia is an interesting character, and we finally learn why she's always doing these ghost hunting things in episode 11 when her grandfather revealed that her parents went missing years ago when something terrible happened. So it was his duty to make sure that she's got everything she needs, to make sure that she was raised well and raised right as a granddaughter. And she turned out pretty well. And it was all because when she was under a spell, she got angry at her grandfather for treating her like a child. So that right there is one of the most fleshed out moments in episode 11, and it felt great when it comes to writing. Ali, on the other hand, I'm not really a fan of his character. I know it's not Kai Boya's fault, but I kind of feel like the writers could have utilized him a bit better. Instead of making him this douchebag, smarty pants, Mr. Know-it-all that knows technology, they could have done a better job with him as well. But I feel like the one episode in episode 18 when he really got upset at Izzy for not being smart, lying to him about smart when it comes to technology. She is a smart girl, but she's not good at technology because of this test that she's got coming up. And even her girlfriend was trying to encourage her, that you're gonna get fine, you're gonna be fine, like you're gonna ace this test. So Solon pretty much had to calm him down and try to knock some sense to him and get him to realize that, look, instead of you jumping on Izzy, why not you help her out and teach her? And he was doing that, and now she was able to figure out how to disconnect the wires to put everybody asleep. I did like this one episode when it was a Halloween special, but it was pretty much focused on Ollie about his fear of losing his friends. So when Lord Zed came into the picture, that was literally one of the best episodes of season 1 and the best highlight thus far. I love his personality. He was a better Lord Zed than he was in the 1990s. Lord Zed was the best part about episode 14. He had a personality, he had a character growth, a character development. Even though I despise it being mind controlled by, I forgot his name, but once he got the necklace, the necklace broke off, he just deliberate those monsters with these. And then he got into a physical altercation with the Rangers as well. And you know what? Lord Zed was the best episode, and hopefully he'll be a main villain next season, because I feel like if they put him as the next villain in season 2, not only he can create monsters, but he can do some damage and do some physical fights with the Rangers. Unlike season 3 of Mighty Morphin, where, well, he's not the worst and he's not the best, he's just mediocre. Hopefully they'll be able to give him a better written stories in season 2. Now, the Garcias, Harvey and Izzy, both Rangers are, well, especially Izzy. Izzy is like one of my favorite characters on the show, especially in episode 4 where she ripped off the skirt. And I think it was pretty clear that we know who the LGBT character was going to be later on in this season. In episode 13, it was pretty much revealed just that. But she was also one of the coolest Green Rangers on the show, being the first female Green Ranger we had since Mighty Morphin, since Trini. And not to mention, her character growth in episode 13 was probably one of her best episodes. Episode 5 was not one of her best episodes because I just felt like the writing of that episode just felt kind of dull and strange. It was fine to have an autistic character on the show, but if the way it was poorly executed, it was a red flag for me. Looking back at it now, I kind of realized they could have done better. Therefore, Izzy is my top 5 Green Rangers on Dino Fury. Now, Harvey, on the other hand, I felt like they could have utilized him a bit better. They could have done something more with this character. Episode 7, he had a love for music, but his dad disapproved. Pretty much going with the Beast Morphers route, with Harvey not being approved by his musical talents with his mother, including art as well. So the fact that they repeat that same format in Dino Fury is kind of like a red flag for me once again. So I kind of feel like they could have just like I said, utilized him a bit better, have him written in different episodes, it was written better. So hopefully in season 2 that'll be giving him better storylines, which I know they will. Oh, Solon. Solon is my favorite mentor of the show. She's funny, she's entertaining, she has a personality. She's a lizard robot dinosaur that has a personality, always giving the Rangers weapons. But I kind of feel like episode 7 is what she threw me off by insulting Harvey like that, telling him to shut up and play. When Harvey played that little flute thing, his Zord comes out. Kind of giving this Tommy and the Dragon Zord, style, But Solon is a cool mentor, and yeah, she's cool. Now on to the villains. Slither is the best villain in the show. His personality, he has a lot of character moments. He shapeshifts different characters and different human beings. And once his plans expose or blows, he turns into this Slither monster. Because due to his soldier footage, this makes sense. But why not? His voice acting is just fun to watch. Voice acting is an interesting character. Even though he's the main villain in season 1, I feel like they're gonna break him back even more stronger and better than ever in season 2. But Fortnite in season 1, especially in the beginning of the first episode, he was threatening, he was intense, he was serious, he wanted to, orcs. And that's basically what he was trying to do in season 1. And we finally learned about why he wanted to want the sports for a reason. Because his wife was in the clue for so many years. He wanted to breed her. He wanted to capture all the spores to put inside this music 1960s machine, whatever you want to call it, to drive his wife. But in episode 21, that plan didn't work out. He had a plan though. He wanted to steal all his mother's technology. He wanted to create this connect the morphin grid to the Rangers' powers, but to free his lover from out of a tube. I think her name was Elsa or something like that. I don't know. But the biggest moment from episode 8 is when we finally get to see his face reveal. And that right there is one of the most highlights. Not to mention, the guy who played Void Knight is the same guy who played the character in Power in the Jungle Fury. That's coming back. Boom Tower, those two I am not a fan of. Nothing to do, just there. They were just there. Overall, season 1 of Power Rangers Dino Fury is a lot of fun. I had a good time watching it. And the reason why I'm skipping the Christmas episode, just filler, don't watch it. It's not worth it. So, Dino Fury season 1, 4 out of 5. I can't wait to season 2. And if you guys like my video, comment down below. Leave a like for your boy as well. And comment down below what was your favorite moments from season 1 of Power Rangers Dino Fury. You know what to do, put it in chat, and I will see you in my next content. By the way, it's nice out here.